Welcome back to Film Fanatics. My name's Miles, and today we're talking about Ahsoka, episode 4, the halfway point of this season, and this episode is titled Forgotten Jedis. So, before I get into everything, I just want to go ahead and say this is consequently the best episode so far. I feel like the last episode was a bit filler, a lot of chase scenes in the fighter crafts, and the first two were a bit lackluster, but I do feel like every episode is getting better, and I think if this show is gonna reach a peak to where it actually ends up being good overall, we'll probably see Thrawn and Ezra within the next episode or two. So when we lead into those final two episodes and our finale, we'll have something to look forward to. I think this will leave off on a cliffhanger. So, and it'll lead into a couple new projects that they're working on currently about what happens in between this Star Wars story and our, cinematic recent Star Wars stories. So that's what we're getting into. But before I get into my breakdown, what I liked about this episode, what I disliked, I want to go ahead and say thank you so very much to all my subscribers, and thank you so very much to my future subscribers. If you've been here long enough, you already know that we're currently trying to build a football team. We need 2 more subscribers to get to 22, and that'll get us to a full football team, and we'll only need 1 million more subscribers after that to get the stadium packed out. So join this journey with me. Let's get to it. And thank you so much to everyone who decides to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let's get into it. So in the last episode, Ahsoka and Sabine and their droid were all stuck on this planet where the enemies have, assumed the map and they're locating Thrawn, and now they're plotting out the course via hyperdrive. So that's kind of what's going on in this whole episode. The enemies and our antagonists are trying to keep Ahsoka and her gang and her comrades at bay while they are mapping out the course to Admiral Thrawn, which does take a little bit of time. So it opens up, like I said, with them being stranded, work with Ahsoka and Sabine working on the ship, and like I said, our enemies have sent out droids to locate them and of course kill them. Don't know why they didn't use the bombs this time, but once they end up finding them, a little fight, Ahsoka and Sabine take them out pretty easily, and we could tell that Sabine in this episode is kind of skeptical about the Force, her lightsaber, so she goes back to her roots in this Mandalorian lore, and she's using more of her blasters, more of her Mandalorian techniques, and all those good different things to make a difference in these fights. Once they take out the droids and they realize our ship's gonna take a little bit longer, Ahsoka does let Sabine know that maybe Ezra is a lost cause. Our enemies know where our other enemy is, and if this plan goes through, we are gonna be behind the curve. This leaves Sabine in a place where she's like, the whole reason I'm really here beyond being a Jedi, the training's hard, I'm obviously the worst candidate, I'm looking for Ezra. This is my only family. Like, aside from you being this cold Jedi, nonchalant Jedi, which they're painting her out to be, Ezra is my real family. So this leaves her with a lot of motivation to help Ahsoka to venture out, to find the enemies and be able to destroy the map or get the map so nobody can get there. So this is the new plan. So Ahsoka and Sabine head off into the woods where they can locate our antagonists, our bad Jedi and our Padawan Jedi. Obviously, they're turning into Siths. Like I said, gray Jedi method. If you've seen my other videos, I'll leave the link at that at the end of the video so you can watch that. But they eventually run into the Dark Knight from Fortnite and the Apprentice, and Sabine and Ahsoka fight. So it's kind of Padawan versus this Dark Knight. Ahsoka, they're battling, and I will say this lightsaber fight was probably the best lightsaber fight in the whole show thus far. So I really appreciate that. I also felt like in the other episodes, the lightsaber fights were a little lackluster. They just were poor choreographed. Just overall, just skip that. Like, we could have just had more interesting dialogue, well-written vibes. And that's another thing. A lot of things in here don't make sense. Like, in this fight, Sabine can apparently block lightsaber, blast with her Mandalorian gear. It's like, okay, so your Mandalorian gear is obviously badass. but it's only in certain spots. Like, I'm not hitting her in the Mandalorian spots. I'm hitting her in the spots where it's not covered. Like, if I'm using common sense as a fighter, but no one ever does this. Or, you know, she's just such a badass with this uniform and this suit. She's, you know, holding it up, going pew pew pew, and it always works out. But our Dark Knight ends up getting destroyed by Ahsoka and ends up being a pile of smoke. What the hell part of Star Wars is that? Like, honestly, when the hell did a pile of smoke in, like, go inside the Dark Knight from Fortnite, an old Inquisitor's outfit, and be good at holding a lightsaber and wielding it? That doesn't make any effing sense. So we could have skipped away with that character. He could have died the last episode in the TIE Fighters to have us get a little thrown off to see, like, okay, well, all our main characters are here. Like, obviously no one's gonna die. But like I said, once Ahsoka kills, you know, the Dark Knight from Fortnite, their apprentice is a little nervous now. So Ahsoka runs to take on our big antagonist, like the motherfucker who started this idea of what it means to start something new and create something new. And he goes into this philosophy a little bit deeper before his fight with Ahsoka. So they get into a huge fight, protagonist, antagonist, dueling it out, a great lightsaber scene, which leads us to, in the previous fight, the apprentice, she gets out of there, escapes, which leads her, which when she comes back to the fight between Ahsoka and our antagonist, she's like a little flabbergasted. She's like, oh damn, where's Sabine? Obviously, if you're back here, she's probably freaking dead. But they end up overpowering Ahsoka. Ahsoka kind of, for a slight bit, messed up their plans, but she is eventually pushed over the edge, over a cliff, which, you know, kind of like puts her at bay for a while. So it seemingly feels like our villains have won, our overarching enemies have revitalized their plan by getting rid of Ahsoka, which is the only Jedi in the equation at the moment. So she's the only one that is prepared and capable of taking down the enemy, and she's out the way. So they end up finding the way to where Admiral Thrawn is. They've mapped that out and they already start going. But earlier in the episode, obviously there's another storyline going on. It's very tertiary, so it's easy to miss, but the general is coming here with the fleet and they are subsided. I thought we were gonna get to see that same scene from The Last Jedi, where the general in that one went in hyperspace and destroyed all the ships, and it was some of the very best visual, like, just capturing of a scene I've ever seen in a movie. Thought we were gonna get that, but no, it's a TV show, less budget, so they just kind of spin around a couple of the fighter jets. They crash into each other as they successfully make it up into hyperdrive to go seek out Admiral Thrawn. So this leaves our protagonist discombobulated. The ship is still messed up. The reinforcements that the general had brought are depleted, so the plan is a little slow for them. Ahsoka has been pushed over the edge, and when Sabine returns, our main antagonist reads her mind and goes, okay, obviously you want to see Ezra. You obviously have a different exterior motivation than your master Ahsoka, so you can help us and we'll help you. So obviously she's probably going to do a double turn, let everyone know where they are, and he uses the Force to get this initial information. So I'm obviously going to be befuddled how he didn't use the Force to see through her and understand that if you do bring her along, she's like sort of a loose end. But that's where our episode leads us off. Our enemies are on a hyperdrive mission straight over to Admiral Thrawn, straight to the Dark Galaxy, and Ahsoka is left in the Dark Realm, where we get to see a DH Anakin Skywalker. Yay! DH Anakin Skywalker. Yay, yay, yay. And that's where our episode leads us off. Like I said, my pros of this one, it's the best episode so far. I'm really definitely enjoying how it's going. I love the Star Wars-esque. Couple of my cons, a couple of the characters are not fleshed out as well. Ahsoka being the main one, the main person of this, the Padawan on top of on the antagonist side, she's kind of just a non-blinking weirdo, but I like her character overall. But like I said, hopefully they do what they need to do in these next 4 episodes to make this a great series. But if you made it here so far, thank you so very much. Thank you so much for being able to stick around for my versions of these breakdowns, because there's plenty of channels out here who are going to give you the meat and potatoes on plenty of other different things, probably give you more information, but my thoughts on the video are just as valid. So thank you so much for letting us all know that is the truth. Thank you. And make sure you stick around at the end of the video so you can maybe watch my first and second episode and third review if you have not already seen it. But once again, thank you so very much. Consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribe, and help me on my journey so we can all be a part of this grand community of 1 million subscribers. Thank you so very much. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy it.